Broadcast the rhythm. Go live, Vegas on the screen, feeling the flow, so pristine. Boom, as the beats align, electric dreams, they intertwine.
Raquel and Erin in a spin, talking life's wild jive, sipping on wisdom with a grin. Midlife mischief keeps it live. Laughs and stories, cheers all around. Raise a glass where wisdom's found, with a sip of truth.
I have menopause.
Profound. The jokes and tales by the fire's glow, discussing changes the season show.
Ready? Okay. Hi again, everybody. I am Raquel Kearney Ellicus. That's Lynn Dula. And you have accidentally stumbled on Midlife Mischief. How are you, Lynn? I am boiling and you're wearing a sweatshirt, which is making me very, very warm.
It's cold here. It's cold here. We're like the low 40s, upper 30s. Yeah, for the past 2 days. The past 2 days, it's been very cold here.
But
Before that, we were in the 90s.
Yeah, I talked to you on Sunday. You were in the 90s. You were warmer than we are. Now we're in the 90s and you're 40.
Low 40s, upper 30s. Freezing. Had to turn the heat back on. We're all confused. My poor little garden is like, what are you doing to me right now? Are you trying to kill me?
I think
We're confused.
I think Mother Nature's trying to kill me. It's 90, what is it? 92, 93, 95, 100? What is it now?
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. I was not ready for 90 degrees. And I don't have anything to wear.
It's 39 degrees.
Yeah. It's very warm. Yeah, I'm still in, everything is in sweatshirt and t-shirt mode. So I need to adjust before I can put sundresses and shorts, and my legs are way too pale to put shorts on right now. They need at least a minute in the sun.
Wait, okay, so let's discuss that real quick, because
my
I've
white
always
legs.
wanted to know. Listen, I have quite a few Caucasian friends and family members.
Okay.
Right? But I don't think I've ever asked anyone this question, because maybe when I thought about it, I wasn't around them. I don't know. Or maybe I have asked and forgot the answer. But this is my question. Why do you guys tan?
I don't. On purpose, do you mean?
Yes.
Oh,
why do Caucasian people go to tanning booths, tanning salons, do the spray tanning thing? Why?
I don't know that I'm the person to answer that. That's a good question. I don't on purpose, but I do know that if I go outside for any length of time, or actually I don't even have to be out for very long, and I will get a little bit of color. but I don't do it on purpose. I've never been that person because I get bored. And I've actually thought the same thing as you, because here's an interesting fun fact. Most of the people who do go to tanning salons on a regular basis and they lie out in the sun, those might be some of the same people that are not always very nice to people who are darker than they are, which I've always found that fascinating as well, because you don't seem to like people who are different than you, and yet you're spending money trying to look the same as the people that you're not overly fond of. I could be wrong, and I am not by any stretch of the imagination saying that is everybody who tans.
Right.
But it is, I would say I have paid attention. And I think it's a majority, and I see by the smile on your face that you do agree with me. Yeah. You just wanted me to say it. That's all.
I just thought maybe you had some insider knowledge to it that the rest of us are not privy to, because I find it very interesting that, I mean, the moment it got warm here, the sun started coming out, for any length of time, our beaches
were full.
And people are out there sunning. And I'm like, it's not even warm enough really to be out there like that.
No.
But they are out there sunbathing and trying to, cook themselves basically. And I've always been fascinated with you have actual tanning salons for you to go to year round if you want to, with memberships and all the things. Now, let me tell you, in the recent years, I would say probably in the last 10 years, I have noticed that the millennial generation have started this whole thing of tanning. Black people that are millennial, they start tanning. But their reasoning behind it, because I've asked, why are you getting a tan?
Yeah.
Is because when we tan, whether we are doing it intentionally or not, it smooths out our complexion. So all of a sudden, we don't have the inconsistencies in our complexion. So instead of having lighter areas or darker areas, everything is like the same skin tone, right? So that's the reasoning that I was given by those people as to why they tan.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Now...
I mean, for black people, not white people. For black people, that's what they were saying.
Okay, well, I can't answer for black people because I'm not black. But I do know that I have had... I tried a spray tan once. I was talked into it, and I tried it. I hated it. I felt ridiculous. Having somebody... you have to stand like this, and you don't have... You only have underwear on, and then they twist it all up, so it's basically only covering your pubic area. And then you have some strange female that you've never met before squirting you with the hose, and I didn't like it. But I did like that it did exactly what you just said, and it did smooth out my complexion and evened everything out, and it did diminish my wrinkles, because as a white woman, my wrinkles show more than yours do, and when I'm tanned in the summertime, they're not as predominant. That doesn't mean that I go outside and I can't even lie in the pool. Like I have floaties. I'll go and I'll float around and I'll have a drink or something while I'm floating around, but that lasts maybe as long as my drink does, and then I'm done. I have to get in the water and do something, either play with the ball, hitting the ball up in the air, or doing some kind of aqua yoga or something. I don't know. I can't just float around, even if it's for my ego. I don't have what it takes. I I also wasn't brought up that way. I wasn't brought up to just lie around in the sun. If I was caught doing that, my mother would usually squirt us with the hose and tell us there was gardening that we could be doing. If we wanted to get more color, we could go and weed the garden.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a time when we did not intentionally, and again, this is Black people, we didn't intentionally tan. We didn't intentionally try to get darker. It just wasn't a thing for us. If anything, we were looking for the shade in the summertime so that we wouldn't get darker. But yeah, all of a sudden, like I said, within the last 10 years, it has become a thing with the younger generations that are coming up that, hey, let's go to the first time I saw a Black girl at the tanning salon, I was like, why is she going in there?
I've never seen that.
Yes, and they go in and they tan. They get under the little heat lamp thing, and I'm like, why are you doing that? But again, once I asked the question, the answer was to even out the skin tone, which I still found to be a little suspect. But I'm just like, okay, whatever, to each his own. But yeah, that's interesting. But I can tell you don't get a lot of sun, not because of your complexion. Hold on.
Just because I'm very white?
No, because your skin is white. And you don't look like you have a lot of those spots and those things going on where you can tell when they spent a lot of time in their youth, like out on the beach. Their skin looks a little leathery at a certain point and when they get older.
Yeah.
And I would say over 45. I would say women over 45 start getting these sunspots. Yeah. They start getting, their skin looks a little leathery no matter what they do to it. And it just, I can tell the ones that spent the majority of their youth out there on the beach tanning or sunbathing.
Yeah, no,
and don't look like you've done that.
I just have the straight up wrinkles, and that's most of them are my laugh ones. So they're here and they're from laughing. My people come from the tropics, though, so we are taught when we're very young to avoid that because of skin cancer and because of what you just said. It ruins your skin. So I think maybe it also depends on where your roots are. So because I'm only first generation, so my parents, they grew up on the beach, but they never lay around doing nothing. They would be either swimming or barbecuing or doing something, and they always had sunscreen on. Even back in the 50s and the 40s, they still had big hats and sunscreen. In fact, if you were to meet my mom today, in the summertime, it would be with the great big sunglasses and a hat that's about this big. That would be my mom. And covered.
I love it.
Covered from like right down here, all the way, like everything is covered in the sun.
Yep.
And in Australia, even small children, when they go to school, they're not allowed to go outside and play in the sun. And all of the playground equipment is covered with tarps and things like that, so there's no direct sun, and they all have to wear hats. It's a prerequisite. So for me, because I was taught that, I don't do it. I will only go out in the pool at nighttime. Once the sun goes down, I'll go in the pool.
Yeah, that's us.
Or I will go in the end where we have a cover over one end, and I'll go and once the shade is on that, I'll go in there. So, and I do get made fun of a lot though, because I do get people saying I need more color. So I don't know if it means that they're uncomfortable with the fact that I don't have enough color.
Yeah, that has to be it, because honestly, you don't need more color. And people who want everyone to look like them. They want everyone to do what they're doing to make themselves feel comfortable about the decision that they made to do it. They don't. If you notice, people don't like being around others who are comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
It makes them antsy. It makes them feel like, there's something wrong with them because they're not
Yeah.
comfortable in their own skin. So, yeah. I always tell my daughter, if somebody's criticizing you about how you look or something that you're wearing,
that's
it's
about
because they're
them.
not comfortable with themselves. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Because why take the time?
Yeah.
Why take the time?
That's always on them. That's not on you. I
Absolutely.
actually got a lot of that when we lived in Laredo. I was told a lot, and always by other women, Raquel, you're looking a little pale today. You need to go out and get more color. I thought I looked fine. I mean, this is the color I was given. I didn't pick it. This is what I was given when I was born. But that was when it first clicked. Okay, this is not about whether or not I look sick. It's about them, and it would make them feel more comfortable around me if I went outside and I got a tan, so I look more like them. Then it would be. I mean, what? But then where do you stop? Do I then get contact lenses so that my eyes are brown? Or actually colored. That was what I was told. My eyes were colored. And Tegan's eyes were not. Does that make sense to you? Last time I checked.
What color are Tegan's eyes?
Hers are brown.
Okay, what color are yours?
One is blue and one is green.
Oh, I like that. What they call that when you have one and one? What is that called?
That's called messed up.
Trick or something.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's called trick or something.
Messed up is what it is. Just messed up.
So your eyes are considered colored?
Yeah, we heard that a lot. I believe what they said was, were your baby's eyes colored when they were born, and did it change? And I thought, what? And they said your eyes are colored, and it took me a while to figure that one out too, because last time I checked, in a box of crayons, brown was a color, right?
It is.
Is it not a color?
I've never heard that before. When I lived in Houston, I've never heard anyone refer to it that way. So it must be a Laredo thing.
Maybe
or
it's
something.
a translation. Maybe it's lost in translation somehow.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah,
but they also told me that. Well, they didn't tell me because they didn't have the guts to. But they used to ask Aaron what his first wife looked like, and did Tegan look like his first wife? Now, I can show you a picture of Tegan and I side by side, and you can tell she's mine. She has my eyes. They're not blue, but the shape of them are still my eyes.
They assumed he had a first wife?
Well, because Tegan has, she's got olive colored skin, so she's a little bit darker. She's got brown hair, dark brown hair, and the boys were all very pale with blue eyes and blonde hair. So
she could possibly pass for Italian.
You know what? My nieces and nephews all have dark hair and olive skin. My 3 blonde kids they're the wild card. We have no idea where that came from. Until I asked my mom, and my mom said that when I was a baby, I had like really white blonde hair with blue eyes. But Tegan came out the gate with black. Her pupils were black. They were never blue. She has never had blue eyes. They came out black with very curly black hair, and she was very dark. And my mom and I remember, because my mom and I laughed. We said, okay, because when you have someone who is not the same as everybody else in your bloodline, occasionally that's going to show up somewhere.
It shows up. Yeah. You know what? It showed up with my cousin's daughter. So my grandfather had gray eyes, and he was Caucasian. And so my cousin, it skips a couple of generations, right?
Okay.
My cousin's is probably my complexion. Her husband was way darker than both, like way darker.
Right.
And they had a daughter. Well, they had a son who
Okay.
was my complexion, but the daughter came out basically looking like she was Caucasian.
Okay.
She was born with like sandy blonde hair. She was very, very light. I mean, almost albino white, but very, very light.
Okay.
And she had, at the time, her eyes were blue. And as she got older, they started turning gray,
Yeah.
which my grandfather had gray eyes. So that made sense. But my cousin's husband didn't know how to deal with that situation at all. Like, he had a lot of questions because as dark as he is, and no one in his family had any of those recessive genes, and my cousin didn't understand why her baby looked like that. She was just as floored.
Oh, so nobody ever had that conversation with her, and she didn't have it with him, because I had to. My sister and I had to have that conversation with our husbands. Like, I had to sit down with Erin and say, "Look, this baby may not be as white as we are." Just because, and I had to explain, because you don't know, it is in the DNA. I don't know, and with my hair, I don't know where it's going to show up. We just didn't know. So my sister and I both had that conversation with our husbands. Like, don't freak out.
To expect it. We didn't even think to expect it. I don't think my mom and her siblings. Nobody had a baby like that out of all, and none of my mother's siblings received that. My mom is the lightest of all of her siblings, so she was the closest to what my grandfather, looked like. But nobody had that issue until this one baby came along, and it really startled the entire family. The whole family was like, "Whoa!" And it made us all question, like, are you sure? Like, come on,
Oh no!
Like, it was just a strange situation, but of course, after all the testing and everything, of course, that's his.
They
child,
did testing.
Still,
they had to do testing.
Listen, let me tell you something. As much as we love her, we couldn't vouch for that. We were like,
no.
Oh no.
Well,
Mama's baby, Daddy's maybe. We don't know.
I can vouch for mine. They're all mine. They're all his.
And then once we found out that, yes, that is his kid, the conversation was like, okay, now, this could happen to any of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could come out looking different.
You so just don't know.
And everybody started carrying a photo of Granddaddy. Like, this is the culprit. He's doing it to us, okay?
I have a photo of my great-great-great-grandmother. I don't know where it is. I'll have to show it to you sometime. It's very hard to tell because, like I said last time, with an Aborigine woman, it's not their hair is not the same, and the complexion is not the same. Well, the complexion would be the same as any other person. I mean, it just depends on what part of the country they live in as to how dark their skin would be. Women who were from tribes closer to the northern part of Australia would be darker, and women from the southern tribes would be lighter. And then if there was any Polynesian influence, then that would affect things. And then with us, it was only 3 generations removed, so that was one of the reasons why we had to have that conversation. It was not that far removed. It's close enough that you just don't know. Now, my boys will have to have that conversation as well with their wives, because I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it could
Exactly.
skip. They consider it a recessive gene that
Yeah.
can lay dormant and then just pop up in somebody, and there you have it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Well, it's no
So
different than Caucasian women or men. I mean, we're all different shades of white. My sister is more of the pink. We make fun of her because she's more of the see-through pink kind of white. I love you, Simone, if you're watching. She goes out in the sun and she gets blotchy red spots. Like she doesn't handle the sun. Like when she gets a hot flash, it's kind of like she turns
you can see it.
red. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And it
and they call us colored.
yeah. Well, this is a lovely shade of pinkish red
I
that
mean,
just
listen,
yeah.
Caucasian people turn pink, red, blue, green,
Right?
and I'm like, but we're considered
Yellow,
colored. Like,
a little yellow sometimes.
yes, sometimes yellow,
Yeah.
but we're considered colored. It's like, where did you find, how did you come up with that? Because
Don't
we
know.
don't turn that many colors.
I don't know.
You can barely see us blush if we do.
Do you
It's
but
weird.
you put sunscreen on, right?
Yes, absolutely.
People have asked
And
that
that's-
question before. I've read that
Yeah,
question
yeah.
somewhere.
We put on sunscreen to protect against the damage of the sun rays.
Well, you don't want skin cancer.
Right. No, yeah, we always put on sunscreen. It feels nasty. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Icky, icky, icky. And I'm thinking, all the technology in the world, y'all haven't figured this out yet? How to make sunscreen that doesn't feel yucky, like you
No.
need a shower. Like, it's just so thick and sticky and ugh.
Yep.
I don't like it. But
I don't like it
yeah.
either.
But yeah, we do wear it.
It's better
But
just to
we
stay
wear
out.
it. I don't go in the sun, so I'm not a big component. I don't like laying out by the, on the sun, in the sun and stuff. That's just not my thing.
No.
I have to find some shade, some shade, and just
Yeah.
chill out.
Yeah.
Summer and I are not friends. I don't like the summer.
Me neither. I'm a winter person.
Me too.
I like the cozy. I like the cozy.
Yes. I love the layering
Yep.
of the clothes. I like the big blankets. I like the hot drinks. Like the summer, I'm not a fan. I'll stay in the house the entire summer if I can help it. I don't want to go anywhere. I actually stopped taking outdoor events. Like if I have a client that says, "Oh, we're getting married outdoors." Oh, good luck with that. I'm not doing it. I will not. I will not.
Really?
Will not.
Oh.
No.
No.
And because we're right here by the beaches and everything near Virginia Beach, you get a lot of people that want to have beach weddings and stuff. And no, I will not. I will not. Go out there, take pictures. I'll do a mock, photo setup. So you
Right.
can stand out there in front of an arch and take pictures if that's what you want to do. But to have your guests sitting out in 95-degree heat
No.
on some hot sand, and they're dressed in their wedding finery and hot sand on, again, let's talk about the hot sand.
Yeah.
And and there's no real breeze. It's a myth that breeze come off of the water in the middle of the hot day. It's not
No.
coming.
I grew up
Then
on
you
an
have to deal
island.
with-
I can confer that does
You
not
see?
always happen. No.
It
Yeah.
does not always happen.
Nope.
You have to deal with the seagulls making all the noise during the ceremony and trying to dip down and mess with people. It's not worth it. It's not
No.
it's not a beautiful thing like they want it to make you think.
No. I want to know how women, now I've seen this a lot, how they manage to look so comfortable and put together when the temperature is 110, 120 degrees. Their hair is perfect. Their makeup is still perfect. They don't look like they're hot at all. They just look like they're nice and comfortable. Me, I'm outside. I look like I am melting from the top down. it just I
And this was
don't know how
before
to do it.
menopause.
Yes, and it's worse now.
Yeah. I don't wear makeup in the summer at all.
I don't either. No, and I
I don't
sure
know
as
how
hell
women
don't.
do it.
I don't put
I am
foundation on
echoing.
ever anymore at all. And I sure as hell wouldn't put it on in the summertime. And I don't put makeup on in the summertime either. And I never do.
Yeah.
Not that I wear a
It's
lot
way.
of it any other time, but
Me neither.
no, just not my thing. But it used to be when I was young. But now
Yeah.
no.
In my 20s.
No, not
Before I
anymore.
had kids.
Yeah.
Now, once I had kids, it was maybe a little gloss, maybe a little mascara, some liner,
Yeah.
but all the rest of it, no.
No. I couldn't contour anything if you asked me to. I have no idea. I don't know what you're talking about. I find the videos fascinating. I could watch
Yeah.
them for hours because I'm fascinated how somebody managed to take tribal makeup and transfer it onto somebody's face and make it look different. How did that happen? Because that's pretty much what they're doing. They are
Yeah.
painting tribal makeup on, and then they're altering the look of their face. And I do find it fascinating. Would I do it? No. I don't have 2 hours to sit and
Oh, it's
do
longer than
that.
that.
And then do my hair on top of that, and then find something that I'm comfortable enough to be putting on, and then finding no, that's just too much for me. It's in the summertime. I'll put on a dress, grab a pair of shoes, look in the mirror, and say, "Okay, well, this is it," and I'll leave. This is as
You're
good as
gonna
it's
get
gonna
what
get.
you're gonna get.
And it is what it is. I
That's
mean,
it.
I don't. Let's face it, nobody even notices when women over a certain age walk into a room anyway, unless you're showing a lot of cleavage and too much leg. So, if you're dressed like a normal human being, nobody's going to even know that I'm there. So, it doesn't
Nope.
really matter what I do. And that's a fact.
Nope.
That is a fact.
It is.
Especially if somebody younger walks in behind me, I completely I'm gone. I'm not even here anymore. Where did Raquel go? I don't know where she is. I can't see her. Where'd she go? I
I
don't know.
only get noticed when I'm with my daughter.
See, a younger person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
That's the only time.
And I know I'm right. People will tell me that's not true. That's not true, Raquel. Blah blah. It is. It's very true. I'm not blind.
It-
I notice. It's like, hello, do you see me? Excuse me, do you see me? I could rob a place and nobody would notice. Now, if I colored my hair and I did the contouring thing and spent 8 years on my makeup, I showed all of the cleavage and put on a pair of 6-inch heels, people would probably notice. But I don't do that, so therefore I disappear.
Yeah.
I'm not playing
You know
the
what?
game.
I discourage from my brides transformation makeup. And because I've had in the past where the bride comes in and she's beautiful without all the makeup. She looks like her regular normal self. We've been working with each other for over a year sometimes. And then all of a sudden she goes for her makeup, tutorial thing, and she looks like a completely different person. And I'm
I
like,
remember that. Yeah, I had
Who-
brides like that too. Yep.
and I'm like, it's not that isn't pretty, it's gorgeous. But you're going to people are going to pay more attention to the shock value that it brings when you come down the aisle not looking like yourself,
Yeah.
looking like a completely different person. And what is the groom thinking when he finds out you could look like this. Like you could look like this every day, girl. And then you go home after the wedding and he wake up and you're back to normal. That could be a kind of a letdown.
Well, okay, and then the cutlets come out.
All the things.
And the
yes.
extensions come out.
The extensions come out. The face is back to normal. Like you married a supermodel and now you're back to a regular Mary Jane. It's like really.
Yep. I know. But
Why
you know what?
A man like that?
I remember having a bride like that, and I asked her, is that like she said she was going to get her hair and makeup like a trial run. Could I come and take a look and give her my opinion? And I said, sure, I could do that. I'm in the area. So I stopped by, and she had the same thing. She had like a ton of makeup, and her hair, it didn't suit her. The hairdo that she had, it didn't suit her at all. The makeup was a bit much, and I asked her if that's what she wanted, and she said, you don't like it? I said, no, you look beautiful, but it doesn't look like you. Is that what you want? Is you want a complete different transformation for your wedding day? And she said, no, but my photographer told me I have to wear this much makeup in order to show up in the photos. And I'm like, excuse me? Well, then you need to get yourself a new photographer, because he's obviously not very good at what he does. Because if he was good at what he did, this wouldn't matter. He would be able to take photos of you, and they would be beautiful, stunning, and gorgeous, because it's you. You don't have to wear stage makeup to show up in your photos.
Right.
But that's what the photographer had told her, that she needed like not just a lot of makeup, but like she took it to the next level.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, if you wanted to be seen from across the street, you look fantastic. Yeah, sometimes I would, but this is why they used to hire me, because I was very honest. Are you sure you want my opinion? Yes, Raquel, I want your opinion. Okay, well, here you go.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like,
and on her wedding day, she did look absolutely beautiful. She toned it down. She still wore a lot of makeup, but it was not the stage kind of makeup that she had on before.
It wasn't theater makeup.
Yeah, and she did change her hair, so it was more like her. It was just more polished. So it looked like her, but more polished. And I think what a lot of brides forget is you got to take your dress into account as well. If you're wearing a ball gown, then yes, you're going to have to do your hair it's going to have to be fancy, because you picked a fancy dress. Yeah. Therefore, the hair, the makeup, the jewelry have to match the dress. But if you're having a beach wedding and you're wearing a beach dress, no, go light with the makeup, go easy with the hair, have it, more, what's the word? Casual, I guess, but still pretty with, maybe put flowers in it, or curl it a different way, wear it down. I don't know, something a little bit looser if it's going to be up, not as tight, not as fancy. That sort of thing. You have to take these things into account. But a lot of brides, they just look on the internet, they see it, they say, that's what I want. And it's a whole team of people who have to agree on the look. Not just, you can't have the photographer saying this about makeup and then the makeup person arguing with the photographer. Those two people have to get along. And then the videographer has to be in on it too. And then the person who's doing the dress. And so that's sort of what our job as a wedding planner is, to like bring all the people
Pull all the
together
pieces together.
and say, okay, you know, and if
Yeah.
she's not a clown, she's getting married, not going to the circus, so let's just rein it in, and everybody has to get on the same page.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? Another difficult conversation to have with brides is that they pick their gown sometimes before they pick their venue.
Yes. Well, exactly.
And so the gown is like this beautiful, glamorous
Yep.
dress, and then you pick your venue, and the gown doesn't fit the
Well,
venue.
you're in a little church that seats like 50 people, and you've picked a cathedral train with a ball
Yeah,
gown.
a 20-foot train. It's as long as the aisle, right?
My train is still out the back door. Could somebody pull that for me? Thanks.
I mean, really. Or you
Yeah.
have a big ball gown and you're going on, like I said, you're having an outdoor ceremony. An
Yep.
outdoor ceremony and you're in a ball gown.
Yep.
Make it make sense.
And-
And I understand you fell in love with that dress, you selected it, but now you have to pick the venue that is going to fit the gown.
Yep.
You know, it all has to work together. Otherwise, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. And then you're going to be mad at everyone else for not guiding you
Yep.
to make better choices.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. Now,
It got to a point where I started interviewing my brides.
really?
It was, oh yeah, oh yeah. I got to a point, I think 15 years into my career, I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? It's one thing to be selected as an event planner, and I can appreciate that. But I also need to select the client as my client. Everybody isn't going to be able to be my client because everyone can't take the honesty and the directness that I'm going to have to give them. I mean, we're working together for anywhere between 6 months to 18 months.
Yep.
Okay. So we have to have a relationship where you're going to have to trust me to know that I'm not going to steer you wrong on how this needs to go. And yeah, I started interviewing my clients. Until this day, I still interview all my clients to see if there's someone that I feel I can actually work with and I can do their event justice. Because
Okay.
if I can't do your event justice, I'm not the planner for you. There's too many planners out here. You can select someone else that is a better fit for
Yeah.
what you're trying to do, you know? So yeah, I interview them because you're
Wow.
not going to pluck my nerves.
No.
No.
I was just
You're
going to
not.
ask you what it's like going through perimenopause and trying to direct a wedding.
It's
Because I
difficult.
stopped when I started going through perimenopause. That for me it was too much. I couldn't deal with, because I had teenagers at the same time, and Erin and I were transitioning over to TV and film. Well, I was, and I had to make a choice. Which one do I want to do? I couldn't do both, and quite frankly, I couldn't do it. I just did not have the patience anymore to
Yeah.
deal with. It wasn't the brides. It wasn't the brides for me, though. The brides, because I would have that relationship with the bride. And I loved working with my brides. It was the bridesmaids that were my biggest issue. Because especially ones that had gotten married already or recently. The recently married ones, those ones, they got on my last nerve, because I would have a meeting with the bride. We would have everything, I would bend over backwards to get her what she wanted and make it exactly what she wanted and what we had talked about. And then she would leave and she would call me and she'd say, well, we're going to do this instead. And I would say, but you told me that's not what you wanted. You wanted to make sure that you didn't do that. Well, my girlfriend, she just got married and she said that's not what people are doing, and they're doing this.
I remember
like,
those days. I remember those days. And let me tell you, my contract has changed so much over the years. it got to a point where we, and probably 20 years ago, I implemented the creative control
Okay.
clause in my contract. So I don't care what you and your girlfriends discuss. keep on keep on discussing, baby. Keep talking about it, okay? Um, don't send me any pictures from Pinterest, or I don't need any of that.
Yeah.
Um, when you sign your contract, and this may sound off-putting to some people, and that's fine, because if it is, you're not my client,
Right.
and I understand that, because I personally cannot do what I ask my clients to do. And I know that because I'm a control freak. So I can't, I know I wouldn't be able to do it. But once we go into an agreement, I find out all the things you don't want to see at your event, what you don't like. That's more important to me than what you do.
Yep.
What you don't like. And then I will take your ideas, send me some inspiration as to what direction you want to go in. Tell me your colors. If you're trying to do a theme, let me know what it is. Other than that, and all those things fall into the contract. They're listed. Outside of that, you have nothing else to tell me. I'm not picking out floral stems with you. We're not picking out vases. We're not picking out linens. My clients don't know what they're going to receive until we open the doors. That's how we do our events, because I can't. I cannot have people going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because we've been planning your wedding for 18
Yep.
months or a year, and in that time frame the trends have changed. Your mind
Exactly.
has changed, your mood has changed. You've gone from wanting something formal to something casual to wanting to mix the two, and
Well,
no.
and then your bridesmaid wants something because she couldn't do it at her wedding. She wants you
Yes.
to do it. Well, I don't really care. I didn't do her wedding. I would throw some of these bridesmaids out if I showed up to the reception area to make sure that everything was exactly the way it was supposed to and put the finishing touches on, and I found a bridesmaid in that room, I would have her removed, because the only person that is walking in to see that before the guests do is the bride. That's it. Not the
Yeah.
bridesmaid. She doesn't get to go
Yeah.
in there and say, "Well, I don't like that, and I'm going to move that, and I brought these. I brought these because I think she'll like them." No, if she liked them, she would have told me. We've already gone through this for the past 2 years. And I mean, at that point, by the wedding day, we were pretty much living together at that point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I know what she wants it to look like. And I was very rarely wrong when I would open the door, because I would have the bride come over early, and I would say, "Okay,
Yep.
I want you to take a
The room
look.
reveal.
And I want you to just be brutally honest. If there's something that's missing, you have to tell me now. This is it. But I think this is exactly what you were looking for." And you open the doors. And that moment when she sees it and gets that little tiny tear in the eye, that would make all of it worth it. But not if there was some bridesmaid in there putting purple flowers in with, a bunch of white flowers because she wanted color. No. And I pull them out, throw them away. No. Go do that at
I've
your
never
own
had
wedding.
anybody do that.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
But let me tell you, I do have a tendency to have these come to Jesus moments with the wedding party and the parents, um, and basically let them know that they don't have a say in the wedding. If you didn't sign my contract,
Yeah.
you
If
can't
you're
tell
not
me what
paying
to do.
me, you don't get to tell me what to do. And I would have
You have
that,
no
yeah.
voice.
At the rehearsal, the dresser at the rehearsal.
Yes,
Oh my God, I hated the rehearsal so much.
I don't
Because
do those.
that would be the first time, well, especially with Hispanic wedding, because there was all of the extras and there was things that were being thrown
Oh,
in.
I don't like doing
Yeah,
those.
and I knew how to do it. I knew what I was doing, and again, everything was planned. I did meet with the priest, and we would go through everything, and he'd usually just say, "Just do what you gotta do." But that would be the first time that I would meet the bridesmaids that were from out of town, and
All right.
yeah,
Well, see, nowadays you have Zoom, and
yeah,
we have these calls and meetings ahead of time.
okay.
And I let them get all their little stuff out. I just let them talk, and once they're done, I'm like, okay, everybody got it at their system? Okay, because we're not doing none of that. I just wanted y'all to feel like you were heard today, but we're not doing any of that.
Okay.
And it usually works out just fine.
Yeah, there's
You know?
just no way during perimenopause that I would have been able to do it. It was bad enough I switched over to production, which producing and directing a TV show for me was like doing a wedding, but minus all the interference.
Yes.
Because I
That's
was the
why
one
I like,
I was in control of all of it. Like people didn't do
yes.
anything unless I said so, and I didn't have any of the, if someone came over and said I don't want to do that, I would throw them off. Okay, well then you can go over there and I'll let you know when we're done filming. We're not messing around. Like I was extremely difficult, but the end result was usually amazing, and it turns out I was very good at it. I still am, but I was very good at it. But I think it's because of all those ladies who used to tell me what to do, and I learned how to deal with it, handle it.
It was
I like,
preparing you.
Yep.
It was preparing you.
As a TV
Yeah.
show is just one big special event. Everything comes
is.
down to timing and visual. You have to picture what you want in the end. How do I get it to do that? How do I
Yep.
get from here to there? That's what I want it to look like. That's what I want to happen. I want this, and this to happen in this order. I need everybody to get it together and make it happen. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah,
It's not exactly, but it's pretty much the same thing.
And you know what? With weddings and corporate events, there's no emotion involved in corporate events.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I prefer corporate,
Okay.
nonprofits, those type of events. Because weddings are very emotional.
Yes.
Everybody's emotional.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? It's supposed to be a happy occasion, but it's usually a bunch of chaos.
Yeah.
It's like, why is everybody in their feelings?
Well,
It's just a wedding.
Aaron and I have always said that now we did it twice. We had our wedding, and then we had another wedding. Our first wedding, I don't think we had much say in it, did we? We didn't have a lot of control. Things were getting changed and everything. I don't think we even knew most. We just wanted to get married. Like, we didn't need the big hoopla. But the next thing you know, it's at a country club, and it's, it wasn't, we didn't know anybody who was there. So when we came to Vegas for our honeymoon, that was when I said to Erin, how about I'd like to get married. I'd like to get married our way. I want to do it our way. And that was just going to a little tiny chapel, saying our vows. And then we went out for a really nice dinner. And we watched the fountain at the Bellagio, and we had the best time. And it was just us. So if someone were to ask me now, I would strongly recommend just go to Vegas, get married, or go to the courthouse and then have a really nice dinner. Celebrate getting married, not the wedding, because too many people focus on the wedding and not the marriage. And then the
Yes,
marriage
I
falls
agree.
apart and they don't know what happened because they had a really good wedding.
Yeah. Weddings are now, the way weddings are now is even less about families coming together and supporting the couple is more of a production.
Yeah.
So I am actually no longer a wedding planner. I'm a wedding producer because we produce these events to such a scale
Yep.
that you forget the reason why you're doing this. And I tell you, I used to hate seeing the bride and groom going at each other over the wedding details.
Yep.
They would spend months and months of just getting on each other's nerves because of the stress, all the money that's being put out, all of the people that are
Yeah.
pulling at them in different directions about the details of the wedding. Because, like you said, everybody wants to make it about what they want at the wedding and not about the couple. And
Yeah.
they don't realize the stress that they put on the couple, and then by the time the day comes around, the couple is like, let's just get this over with. You're not even
Right?
enjoying all the planning and all the things that you put into having this beautiful moment. It's all for nothing because you were so stressed out. You lost a few friends along the way in your wedding party because y'all had falling out about whatever, the outfits or the cost or whatever it was. And now you're at this point where you're just going through the motions.
Yep.
And no, you should never start any marriage like that.
Nope.
And I tell people now, I'm like, listen, first of all, personally, I'm not going to do your wedding unless you're over 35. You got to be over
Okay.
35 for me to do
Okay.
your wedding. That's number one. And that has nothing to do with my event planners. That's just me personally.
Okay.
Um, I'm not going to do your wedding if your budget exceeds your own income.
Okay.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be a part of you sitting up here trying to get loans to pay off a wedding. It's an 8-hour day. You won't remember 6 hours of the day.
I there it is right there. That's
you know?
exactly right. I look
Yes.
back, I can look
Yes.
back on our wedding and I don't remember who was there. There are some
Nope.
people I remember that were there. I don't remember. I don't remember much of the details at all of the actual ceremony because I was so nervous because
Yep.
I'm an introvert. If I know you really well, then I'm an extrovert. I'm one of those people. Like around people
Yeah.
that I know really well, yeah, you'd never know I was an introvert.
That's
But
me. That's
when
me.
it comes to the thought of walking down the aisle with, I think there was about 200 people in the church, I was terrified, absolutely terrified. And I got tunnel vision, and the only thing I could do was focus on Erin at the other end and try and get there as fast as I could and get it
Yeah.
done and over with. I hated it.
Yeah.
I absolutely,
Yeah.
I was so uncomfortable because I was doing what I thought I had to do, what I thought everybody had to. This is what you have to go through.
That's what you do. Yeah. For your family. You have to do it for the family, for your mom, for your aunties, everybody wants to see you get married, so you have to put on this big production. But in my older years, I highly encourage a lot of couples to really pay attention to your guest list.
Yep.
I mean, on a good day, let's say you get your income taxes back.
Yep.
How many people are you treating to $100 meal? Look at it from that perspective. Like,
Yeah.
who would you actually call and say, "Let me treat you to $100 dinner"?
Yep.
And if that list isn't long, then that should help you understand, because people don't even give gifts like they used to.
No. No.
Like, you really probably will not get hardly anything nowadays for the weddings, right? So it's like, why not do a destination wedding? Let your people pay for their way to get there. That's a true sign of who is going to support you too. If
Yeah.
somebody's willing to buy an airline ticket and pay for a hotel to come and see you get married, those are people that you want to keep around,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I agree.
But if they're looking for you to pay for everything, you get an open bar, you're feeding them, they come, they dance on your dime, they talk about what you got on, and then they leave.
Yeah. And you
You
won't
paid all that
remember.
money.
And you don't
Yeah.
remember it. Nope.
You don't remember it. And then when you're going through things within your relationship or in your life, you can't call any of those people to babysit, to pick up your kid, to, when you're sick, to just come bring you a bowl of soup. Like, these are the people that witness your marriage, but they can't come and assist you with any parts of it at
Yep.
all.
Yep.
So it's like, when people, if you think about weddings in those terms, you'll make better decisions on how you're planning to spend that money. And if nothing else, look at all these celebrities, and just because they have the money, don't be fooled. A lot of them are not coming out of pocket for what they're spending. A lot of
No.
them are doing deals behind the curtain and getting a lot of things gifted to them to have these big spectacles and, to be published and everything. And, the little money that they are spending, they get divorced in a year,
Yep.
2 years.
Yep. It's true. Yeah.
It's insane. So
Maybe we should do.
and
Maybe we should
Huh?
do more menopause weddings.
I like those though.
I think we should.
I like-
I think I would do one. I would get back into it to do a menopause wedding because
Yeah.
that bride is just gonna cut to the chase.
That's
she's
it.
she's gonna tell you exactly what she wants, and if you
Yeah.
deviate, she'll hit you. So you won't deviate. You're just gonna do as you're told. And that's it. I mean, it's going to be very simple.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a budget buster. It's just going to be about the couple. And I would educate a guest that, she's probably going to say, if they don't come to my house for dinner on a regular basis, they're not coming to my wedding.
Yeah.
If it's not
Yeah.
somebody that I want to see Monday to Friday, they're not coming to my wedding. They can just piss off and go away. That would be a menopausal
Absolutely.
wedding.
Yep, absolutely. And let me tell you, I have some of
And
the
don't
best
spend money on the
clients.
flowers because she doesn't want
No.
that. She'll either
doesn't
say,
want
"Give me a plant that I can put in my
Yeah.
backyard and regrow," or we'll figure something else out. It doesn't matter because I don't want flowers because those are a waste of my time and we're just going to throw those away.
Yep. You know what I miss? I miss the champagne and cake weddings receptions.
That's what I had.
I don't know. Back in the day, oh my gosh!
I
and
had a
people don't
cocktail.
realize
I had a cocktail reception
a
for my
cocktail-
reception.
Yes, you have a vegetable crudité, you have a fruit display with cheese and crackers, and then you have the cake and the bar.
So-
And that was basically it.
Yep.
You might have a few past hors d'oeuvres maybe, but at the end of the day, and it was short, it was sweet. You were off to your honeymoon, and people were glad to go home. Brides and grooms don't understand. Your guests really don't want to be at your wedding for 6 hours.
No,
They don't want.
no. That's
And that's why 2 hours in, as soon as dinner is over, the majority of your guests start leaving after dinner.
yep.
Then you have your diehards. If the bar is still open, you're going to have your diehards that are going to hang around because the bar is open, the music is pumping, and they're going to get some dancing in. But a lot of times they don't stay for the cake cutting anymore.
No.
It's a waste. They don't stay for the cake cutting. It's like, wait, they're cutting the cake. It's gotten to the point where we have to do all those things almost immediately
Yeah.
just to get it done, to get the photos, and so that we can say it was done, and now you guys can just eat and drink and do all the things. But a lot of people are leaving these receptions early.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's a slap in the face after you done spent, $50,000 on this event.
Erin, I agree.
Yeah. So
That's what we did. We had what they call a cocktail reception at the country club. And I think there was about 100, maybe 150 people there. And I don't like wedding cake. I don't
Me
like it.
neither.
So I
Me neither.
refused. That was one thing that my mother-in-law tried to get us to do that. And I said, no, there has to be something for me. So I found out that at the is it a cheesecake factory here?
Yeah.
In Canada, it's the Cheesecake Foundry or the Cheesecake Cafe. Sorry, but here it's the same company, but it's the Cheesecake Factory. They do wedding cakes,
Yep, they do.
and you can even go and sample. And we did.
Yeah.
Aaron and I had the best time because we had so many pieces of cheesecake that we could try, and we got to take it all home afterwards. And we ended up with 3 cheesecakes that they decorated for us. And then we just stacked them and we cut them. And then one of them we kept. They gave us a little one to put in the freezer, and we kept that one. And to this day, for our anniversary, we always have a piece of cheesecake because I don't like cake. So that was the one thing that I put my foot down on. I was like, no, I don't want cake because that means everybody else is going to eat it and I'm not going to. So,
Yeah. I don't like wedding cake, but I love cake. I'm a big cake fanatic, but I don't like wedding cake because it's a different batter. It's not the same. And so, and he's a pie person. He likes pie, but he loves cheesecake too. So we did something similar when we were dating and we would go out to dinner. I would always try the dessert everywhere. I had to have the dessert. And so we would have tiramisu. We would have like the chocolate lava cakes or whatever, or the Italian cream cakes. So what I did was I ordered cakes from all of our favorite restaurants.
Okay.
And I went to the Cheesecake Factory because he loved the vanilla bean cheesecake.
Oh, me too.
And I got that, and I got the raspberry white chocolate cheesecake that they have.
Oh,
so I got those 2 cheesecakes, and then we had like all these floating tiers with about 8 different cakes.
Okay.
When I tell you that our guests thought that was the best thing ever.
Oh, ours did too,
because they were able to have their options of different cakes, and it tastes like everyday cake. It didn't taste like wedding cake. It tastes like something you would get on a regular basis, almost like birthday cake, I guess you could say, but it was gone. It was gone. We didn't have any cake left.
Oh, wow.
It was gone.
That's all right.
Which was great because do you know how much cake we throw away at weddings? I've thrown away the entire bottom tier of a wedding cake, multiple times because the people don't want it. And you go around to the tables and they'll take a few bites of the cake and leave the rest of it on the table. They don't eat it.
Wow.
It's a waste. Thousands of dollars of wedding cake just sitting there, gone to waste. It's insane. All because people want to just put on the show.
Yep. Oh, I remember. See, and like I said, there's no way. I wouldn't be able to do it now. There's just no way. I couldn't. I'd be slapping people left and right. I'd be Zsa Zsa Gabor and everybody. I know. I don't have the patience.
So I only do 2 weddings a year. I do 2 a year, if that. And I'm very selective about the 2 that I do. Everything else, I do all the other different types of events. But weddings, I'm only doing 2 a year because that's all my nerves can take. I can't do any more than that.
Kudos, because there's no way. Nope.
And my clients are great, though. I got to tell you, I have like the best people. They're always like, Lynn, whatever you want to do is fine with me. And, and it gets to a point where I have to call them and say, hello, you haven't called me in a while. You are still getting married, right? Like we haven't talked. And they're like, no, you got it. We're good. I love it. I love it. So my clients are really great about it.
I don't think I ever had any of those. No, I never had any of those. No.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, wow.
Now, if I can get some of these other people in line, that'll be different. Oh, my God.
And don't even get me started with quinceañeras because we had to do those too, and I hated those. I don't like them.
I don't do
don't.
kids parties and stuff like that unless it's somebody that I am really close to. I don't do kids parties.
I didn't even
Yeah.
like doing my own kids' birthday parties.
Right.
I hated
Right.
it. Hated
I,
it.
I take them places and hire people to do their parties. It's like, I'm
I
not
was
doing
so
it.
happy when the kids were past the age where they wanted to do the themed birthday parties, and they were totally happy
Yeah.
just to do the old school, um, pick up a cake at the grocery store and
Yeah.
order some pizzas and have some friends come over, and they would just hang out until 2 in the morning eating pizza and junk food and crap, and they had the best time. I was
Yeah.
thrilled when they said that's what they wanted. I said, that's fine. Tell your friends to bring a pillow and a sleeping bag. If you guys stay up too late, you can just stay. As long as I don't have to clean it all up and I don't hear it, I don't care. So that I was thrilled when we got to that stage because
I just think I want to bring back the old school birthday parties where you just had cake and ice cream and, some juice boxes. And like you said, the kids hang out, play games and stuff.
yeah,
These parties have gotten out of control. Some of these parties are like small weddings. Like we've had
yeah,
clients that want to spend $5,000 to $10,000 on their children's birthday party. I'm like, the baby won't even remember it. They're turning 2. They're not going to
for a
remember this.
2-year-old.
I mean, I'm glad to take your money, but they're not going to remember this. I'm really $8,000 to $10,000 on a child's birthday party.
Wow. And what
That
is
would look so much better in a college fund.
right? Or put it away and in a savings account and let them buy a freaking condo when they leave home. Buy them a
Put a
house.
down payment on a piece of land.
Yep.
Okay, find some cheap land and put a down payment on it and say this is going to be. Leave them something, but
Yep.
a party?
Yep. Well, what did the parents like? What did they do for their birthdays? Maybe that's where the
Not
key
that.
is. They do nothing, but for their kids,
No,
they
they
go all
don't.
out.
Do you mean for their? You talking about when they were kids or as adults?
No,
What they
as
do?
an adult, like what did they do
Most
for
of
their
them do
birthday?
trips and stuff. A lot of them do trips, and some of them will do milestone parties like that. If they're turning 25 or 30 or 50 or something like that, they'll do a milestone party. But no, a lot of these parties are coming about because they had these television shows, and people get so wrapped up in what they see on social media and stuff, and it's like they see the celebrities doing these really big over the top parties for their kids. And so all it takes is like one or two parents in the neighborhood. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Are
I'm
ya?
guilty. When I first had my first two, my older two, and I was a wedding planner, event planner, I was like, oh, I'm going to have a full carnival in my backyard for my son. So we did the whole pseudo carnival circus theme in our backyard because we had just bought our house. We had all this land in the back, and I was like, it would be so cool to have, this big party back there. And we did, and we had all the things. And I think I told you guys about this the last time. And I think I kind of started that a little bit in their little circle of friends.
Right.
Because after that, all of a sudden, everybody started trying to level up or outdo each other with
Well,
the
you
birthday
have
parties.
to. You have to. It's almost mandatory at that point. I
So
never did
after a
it.
while,
I never did
I
it.
got to the point now where I'm not doing it. I'm not competing
No.
anymore.
No.
So now we're back to just doing basic stuff. And guess what? The kids don't care.
Yep.
They're like, okay, we don't have to have a big old party. Now, granted, Lauren is already planning her sweet 16.
I'm
She's
sorry,
12.
what? What?
Who told her she was going to have a sweet 16? I don't know, because I didn't tell her that.
Wow.
She started planning it when she was 10.
Damn. Wow.
She's 12 and she's still going strong. Still, she knows what she
Well,
wants.
see, when I was 21, I worked as a nanny in England, and I did that for about 10 years. Now, when I was planning these parties, because it was part of my job, I was planning the second family that I worked with. Their connections in London were connections that you saw some of the people that were in the cathedrals for some of these big fancy weddings, the royal ones.
Got you.
These
Gotcha.
kids would play with those kids. And you know what? They didn't do those parties. They didn't do them. They did not do them. They
What
did
did they do?
understated, and if it was a big party, it was maybe on a weekend out in the country, because people would have two houses. They would have one house in the city for when you're working Monday to Friday, but Friday afternoon they would head to the country. And with this family that I worked for, we would go to Oxford. We were out near Oxford, and we just didn't do it. The adults did, but it was very different. It would depend on what season it was, and if
Right.
it was during the season. And if you watch Bridgerton, you would know what the season is. If it's during
Yes.
the season, that was when everybody would go out to the country and they would host these events at their country house. And I would be the one I was no longer the nanny. I'd be pulled out of that job and thrown into creating the weekend. I would have to plan an entire weekend for about 20 people staying at the house.
Yeah,
And
house parties.
that would include meals, accommodation, and in a lot of cases, what they were going to be wearing and what their activities were when they weren't out
I would
doing all
love
these different things.
that.
That's where I started. And then I would cater as well, because it was a lot easier. If you're gonna pay someone to do it, I'll do it. I mean, I'm here anyway, and I don't want to hang out with these people, so I'll be in the
Right.
background cooking. I don't mind. So I would have to cook, set the table, make sure everything was running, greet people at the door, run around the corner, do something else, run back and get the next people, take them to their room, run back, and it just. I was exhausted by the end of the weekend, but it was good. And the kids, if they had a birthday during that time period, there would be a cake with some balloons, and that would be it, because everybody was already doing things. So the only special occasion, the only birthday would be if you were turning 21. And if you turned 21, then it was a big deal. But turning 2, turning 5, turning 16 was really nothing. And in my
Yeah.
family, we didn't do it either until you turn 21. When you're 21, that is a big deal, because you are legal age, you're an adult all over
Yeah.
the world. And that, if you're part of society, like in Australia, if you're a debutante, 21 is when you're presented to society.
Oh.
Not at 18, at 21. So my
Really?
mom was a debutante at 21, and then when my sister and I turned 21, in Canada they don't have debutantes, but my mom made sure that we did all of the stupid things that we had to do. And when I say
was a
stupid,
debutante.
I mean
know.
I had to learn to walk with a book on my head. I
Yep.
had to sit. I can't even tell you how many hours I sat at the dining room table with the full table setting. while my mom would, all four of us had to sit there, and we had to learn all the knives and forks and the cups and the
Yep.
glasses and all of that. Plus we had to learn how to clear everything without anybody noticing, because
Yep.
that's very important. You never clear your plates at the table ever.
Yep.
You don't like scrape the food off onto another and stack everything. You just
Mhm.
no. Um, and all of that stuff, like we had to learn all how to sit down, how to stand up, how to enter a room. And we used to laugh and say, Mom, why are you doing this? Like, we're not in Australia, we're not gonna be debutante. She said, because you don't know who you're gonna meet. You never know who you're gonna meet and what you're going to be invited to. And I'll be damned if one of my children is not going to feel like they belong somewhere.
Absolutely. My mother was the exact
So
same
you should be able to
way.
walk into a room wherever it is,
Whatever, and
and
fit in.
and you fit in. You can have a
And fit in.
conversation. We were taught
Yeah.
conversation skills.
Yep.
There were subjects that you talked about, subjects you didn't talk about. That's a little different
Yep.
now, but still. And you were taught the art of having a conversation.
Yeah.
So, which I think people need to learn now, because they don't learn it anymore. And also learning to speak properly. So
Yeah.
there's no double negatives. There's no I ain't got to, or any of these other things that you hear people saying now, and then you call them on it and they say, oh, don't be so, you're a stick in the mud, or you're whatever, don't be so picky.
Oh, you know what? No, let me tell you, I can turn it on and off. So
Oh,
when
I
I
can
turn
too.
it
Oh
on,
yeah, I am
when I
just
turn it
good.
on,
Yeah.
my people who know me, when they're not used to me turning it on. So if I turn it on in front of them, they're like, "Wait a minute, where'd it come from?" I'm just like, because I'm like, my mother taught me
Yeah.
that you should always be able to relate to the people that you're talking to, whoever,
Yep.
whatever room you're in.
Yep.
So if you're in the hood, you need to be able to relate to the people in the hood. If
Exactly.
you're in a room with people that are, above your pay grade, you still need to be able to talk to them
Mm-hmm.
with intelligence.
Yep.
So it's one of those things, and I think own kids,
Okay.
um, I don't do it like I used to with these two. The older two, yes. These two, not so much. You know, she came in here and just distracted the mess out of me, right? What? Very good. I'm not getting another one. No. Bye.
Mine
She
don't do
fell in
that
love
only
with
because
this ice.
mine don't do
She's
that.
fallen in love with this Baskin Robbins ice cream, and it's driving me crazy. It's like killing it.
What
It's a
kind?
cotton candy. It's cotton candy
Oh, is it
from
good?
Baskin Robbins.
Oh, I haven't had ice cream in years. Frozen yogurt, yes. Ice cream. Tegan, when I was pregnant with Tegan, she killed it for me. I don't like ice cream anymore. Ever since I was pregnant with her, I blame Tegan.
I get it. I don't eat fruit.
Okay,
Ever since I was
pregnancy.
pregnant with Ryan.
Okay, yeah. See these
So
damn kids. They
yeah.
just yep.
And people look at me
It's
like
ice
I'm
cream.
strange when I say I don't eat fruit.
Fruit
I don't
has a
eat
lot of
raw
sugar in
fruit.
it. Fruit has a lot of sugar in it.
It
And you're better
does.
off eating vegetables.
Yeah. Oh, I love vegetables.
Me too.
But when they ask me why don't you eat fruit, it's because it's not consistent.
What do you mean?
If you get a strawberry today, it could be very sweet. The next time you try it, it could be tart.
That's very
They're not
true.
consistent. Vegetables taste the same. no matter when you eat them.
Yeah.
But fruit,
That's
you
actually, I
can
never
get
thought
it
of
and
that, but that's true.
it's inconsistent. And I don't like the inconsistency of it, so I don't eat it.
Because you never know what you're going to get.
I never know what I'm gonna get, and I don't like that. I don't like to think that I'm gonna eat something sweet and it's bitter or tart or not. I don't like that. And
Strawberries are
Ryan
like
doesn't
that,
eat
though.
fruit either.
Did you eat fruit when you were pregnant, though, with Ryan?
I hardly ate anything with any of my pregnancies, so I'm having a hard time thinking whether it was something I could eat. Yes, I did.
Maybe
I
that's
did. I
why.
ate fruit when I was pregnant with him. Um, you know what I ate the most?
What?
Wasabi.
Shut up. Really?
First of all, I can't stand spicy food. I hate anything spicy.
But you ate
Not
wasabi.
like
How did you eat it,
only
though?
like a spread. I would take it and spread it on and eat it. It did not bother me at all.
Oh, my.
It was so good. And it was so bad because the people at the restaurant that my husband used to go to get my food, because I could only eat that, and I could eat wonton soup and miso soup. I could eat those, and I could eat wasabi. I could eat the ginger, those things, and they wouldn't make because I had what is it called? I can't think of the word for it, but when you just constantly stay sick the entire pregnancy.
I don't know. I never had
Um,
that problem, so I don't know.
oh my gosh.
No.
I lost so much weight during all of my pregnancies. And with Lauren, I was losing weight so fast that I had to wear an IV 3 times a week. I had to get an IV.
Really? Yeah, I
Nutrients,
never had
yeah.
that problem. Did
I
I,
couldn't
honey?
hold nothing. I couldn't hold anything. I was terrible. And so
No.
wasabi and California rolls, stuff like that. Those were the things that I could stomach. White rice, just plain white rice. I could eat that. I couldn't eat chicken. No, no pork at all. No, no poultry. It was more stuff that I couldn't eat than I could. Yeah, I was
Wow.
terrible. With every single pregnancy, I stayed sick, like sick. It was terrible.
I grew two
So
people at one time and I didn't get a single day of morning sickness.
I did not like people like you when I was pregnant. I was like, I did not like it. I was like, why am I suffering like this? Like
And I,
my
I didn't
body
put weight on
actually acted
either.
like they were rejecting these babies. I'm like, it was like a foreign object was taking over my body. It's just, yeah, it was
No,
terrible.
see, when I actually had that problem, so I would miscarry. I was killing. I have RH. I'm RH negative, so every time I had a pregnancy where the baby was not RH negative, I would miscarry between around 10, anywhere from 10 to 15 weeks would be when I would usually miscarry until they figured it out. And then I would get a shot. I would get a shot in the ass twice, I think, during the pregnancy. But it took my doctor a long time to figure out that that's what the problem was, because Erin is also RH negative. So it was very difficult for me to carry a pregnancy full term. So all four of my kids are all RH negative as well. But I would literally, so I didn't get morning sickness. I would just rejected the pregnancy completely.
That is crazy because you know what? When I was born, I had to have 5 blood transfusions
Wow.
because my parents' blood wasn't compatible. And
Okay.
so when my mom had lost like 5 babies before she got to me.
Is she
By the
RH
time they got to
negative?
me, huh?
Is she RH negative? Do you know?
Yes,
Yeah. That's
yes,
my mom had the
yes.
same problem. Yep.
And so I too am RH negative.
Yep.
And so it was like, but I only had one miscarriage, but out of the rest of them,
But you were
everybody's
very
fine.
sick, so maybe it was a
Extremely.
compatibility thing because Erin is Rh negative and I'm Rh negative, so that would cancel. The fetus wouldn't have a chance,
Right.
unless for whatever reason, and we still don't know how exactly you end up with an Rh negative baby. I don't know what
Yeah.
they do with the eggs. They scramble them or something. I have no idea. Some of them are good, some of them are not good. But it was tricky because you'd find out you were pregnant. And for me, I was pushing 30 when I was pregnant with Tegan. She was born a week after my 30th birthday. I wanted to be a mom. I
Yeah.
every time we tried, I would lose the baby, and after a while, you do start to think that it's something you're doing, and
Yeah.
how come it's so easy for everybody else, and for me, it's this issue. And then the doctor started looking into it more, thankfully, and he was the one who figured it out and said, "Okay, this is the issue. It's not you. There's nothing we can do to prevent it." But what we can do is we can once we get to a certain point, we can give you that shot and we can try and maintain it. But we do have to be. You can't do that for a certain amount of time, so it's a crapshoot,
Right.
and you just have to
Yeah.
hope that you get to where you need to be. And so with my kids, I was very, very lucky, and I got the ones I was supposed to have. The other ones just went to someone else or something. Okay. Thanks. So, I don't know. I didn't have morning sickness, but, it wasn't all a bed of roses either. And with Tegan, I put on
24-hour
almost
sickness.
100 pounds with Tegan. So, you lost weight, I put it on. I did.
I lost so much weight. The doctors were concerned. They were just like, you're going the complete opposite of where we need you to go.
Yeah.
Like I lost a lot.
And how big were the
of
babies
weight.
when they were born? How big were?
All of them were 7 pounds.
Oh, so
All
not
of
that
them were
big.
a little over. Yeah, a little over 7 pounds each one of them.
Okay.
I think the shortest one was like 16 inches long.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They were regular sized kids. And the thing was, the doctors would say the babies are fine. You, on the other hand, we're
Yeah.
concerned about. You may not make it, but the babies are fine. And they finally started giving me the IVs because Lauren tried to kill me. She tried to take me out, girl. She was the one.
It's always the
She
girls.
Honey, that girl.
I didn't put weight on with the boys. I'm just saying it was Tegan. But that was
I lost all my hair with Lauren.
Really?
I lost all my hair. I had beautiful hair down to here. It was full and lush. All my hair fell out in clumps, like just clumps. In the shower, all my hair was falling out when I was pregnant with her. Oh, my teeth started getting like loose. Like I was losing my teeth when I was pregnant with her. And I couldn't go to the dentist because they won't work on you when you're pregnant. It was like my mouth was killing me. I'm losing my hair. I can't put on weight and I'm constantly vomiting. It was the worst pregnancy. And then after I had her, I went to get my tubes tied and they were like, oh, well, we're going to have to wait on that because you're pregnant again. I
Shit.
was beyond pissed. Okay. I was so angry. I was so angry.
That was when you and I started talking.
Really?
That was when we started talking, because we had been, I think we had been friends on social media before that, but we didn't really talk until that time, and then you were just so distraught and so upset. And I remember sending you a message saying, listen, if you need to vent and you need to say the things that you need to say, I can be your
You
safe
did. I
space
remember
because
that.
I also have 4 kids. I understand what you're going through. And
Girl.
I don't know you. I don't know any of your family. I don't know anyone over there. So it's a safe space. You know, I can't tell anybody anything that you say. So go ahead, just put it all out there, and you did, and here we are. I think what almost 13
12
years
years
later. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was so distraught, and people were like on social media, they felt bad for me, but they didn't understand why I was so upset about it. I'm like, you guys don't understand. I feel like I'm dying when
yeah.
I'm having these kids. Like it's not fun for me. And they're like, "Oh, pregnancy is so beautiful, and
No, it's
you're gonna
not.
at the end you're gonna have this beautiful baby." And I was just I want to choke everybody. Like, shut up! It's lies.
Well,
It
here's the
is all
thing.
lies.
But here's the thing. Apparently, whatever you went through with your pregnancies, and I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but those are a lot of the things that you're going to go through when you get to menopause. So it's a good thing we're friends now. I got you. I still got you.
Oh my
Because everything,
gosh.
if you had problems losing hair, you need to make sure that you are upping your collagen now, so that that doesn't happen once you officially hit menopause, because that's when that's what they're saying. It's you can equate it to puberty and pregnancy. The issues that you had during those 2 time periods are basically what you're going to re-experience through menopause. Now it'll build up during perimenopause, so you should see signs of it. But then once you get to the official menopause, then that's so you up your collagen. I don't want your hair to fall out.
Me neither. It was so depressing. It was so depressing.
I
was
can't even
like,
imagine. I'd lose my mind every day. I'm like, okay, is it still here? Is it still here? Okay.
Yes.
We're
It
good.
was so depressing.
We're
And I
good.
was just like, and I used to always think when I was pregnant with Lawrence, like, am I going to like her when I give birth? Like, am I going to like her? Because she's taken me through so much. Am I going to like her? Like,
Yeah.
and it took me a minute to really, I'm not going to say to connect with her, because I think the connection was immediate, but it just took me a minute to warm up to her because I was like, it just took a minute. It didn't take a minute with the older two, but for some reason with her, it took me a minute to just get there, right?
Yeah.
And then by the time I did, I realized she left the gate open for her brother to come through, and I was like,
Damn it.
and I was okay when I found out it was a boy. I was like, thank God. I really thought another girl would kill me. I just thought a girl would kill me.
You know what? I don't think I would have, as much as I sometimes do think it would have been nice to have 2 and 2. I would have liked to have another daughter. I don't think I was ever supposed to, because Tegan was enough for me. Like that one daughter,
Yeah.
all of it got put into her, and it all got
Yeah.
thrown at me, and she's a lot. She's extra. I love her. I absolutely adore my daughter, but would I want another one like her? No. I wasn't meant to be a girl mom. I was meant to be a boy mom.
Yeah. Me too.
The shenanigans that the boys got into, I know there's a lot of girl moms that would be like running away, hiding. You know, when the twins removed the glass from their bedroom window on the 2nd floor, that probably would have been a lot for a lot of girl moms, but I think I handled that like a pro. Until Aaron got home and I wanted to throw the glass at him. The constant playing with appendages.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But I have a twin brother, so I mean, I knew that was coming. I saw that before I was even born. I was in the womb watching him play with his little thingy when he got it the first time. So that was not surprising for me.
You what?
I also, when I was a nanny, I looked after the baby. My first charge, the baby was a baby boy, and I started looking after him when he was 3 months old. And I don't know if he's watching this, but we are friends on social media still. And he will be turning almost, well, I'm not telling you how old he's turning, but he's old enough to also have his own family and kids. And he now lives in Whistler, which is funny. And I watch him now, and I'm like, wow, I predicted that was going to happen. Or, okay, I saw that coming, which is interesting because for me, it was like he's my first baby because I was with him for 2 years. He was almost 3 when I left and went, and I had another job. And I still miss him. I have photos of the two of us together. I mean, when we went out, people thought he was mine because I was only 21 at the time. And it was crazy. And I look back now and I'm like, okay, he was a boy. The next family I worked for, it was also a little boy. And then I had 3 of my own boys. So Tegan she was thrown in there for a curveball, I think. It's like, okay, see if you can handle this. And I did, I think. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. But that girl.
Yeah.
If there's anything that is supposed to be happening as a daughter, she's thrown it at me. I swear to God. Everything. But she'll never get pregnant. So there's that. I'll never get to do that. She doesn't want kids.
She can still she can still become a mom.
Yeah, she doesn't want them. She wants cats.
Oh, she doesn't want
rabbits and yeah. No. Yeah. That's okay. It's her.
Will she get married? Do you think she'll ever get married?
I don't think so. She's had her girlfriend for a very long time, and I don't think that's the direction that they want to go in. No.
Okay.
I'll be lucky if I get her out of the house. I think she wants to stay here with me.
Which one of your boys do you think will get married first, if any of them?
You think Rory? No, Rory's our frat boy. You think he'll be the first one to get married? It could be Rory. Delaney, I think maybe. It might be Delaney. I think all 3 of them will be very good husbands, though, because they're really good with me when I'm having a day. They're better with me than Erin is. Erin is terrible when I'm having a hormonal shift or something. He always says something stupid. I love you, honey, but you do. He does. But it's not his fault. I can't get mad because he didn't have a sister. And his mom his mom didn't think it was important to teach him about anything about women in that respect.
Don't be ridiculous.
So I have purposely made sure that I have taught my boys, like when Tegan got her period, the boys, all 4 of them sat down with me and we all had a discussion about, your sister is going through this and this is what you're going to need to do. And then she's going to probably be like this and you have to be nice. And here's your job as her brothers is to make sure that she is comfortable and you're not arguing with her. Don't tell her to relax. Don't tell her this. Don't tell her that. And this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And you may have to go to the store for her and get tampons and blah, blah, blah. Or ask her if she's okay. Get her a heating pad. Get her some ice cream. Throw chocolate at her. It doesn't matter. So I made sure that they knew what was going on, both physically and emotionally, as much as Tegan knew. So
Right.
so that they wouldn't be the kind of husbands that I have. Now, and you're a great husband, honey, but you're not very good at the women stuff. You're not very good at the women stuff. He's learning as I go. So, I mean,
Well, at least he's learning.
Well, I've got news
Yeah?
for you. You're mine now. You belong to me.
okay.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I mean,
That was a good one.
so I think out of all of them, it may be Delaney or Rory. It won't be I don't think it'd be Sasha, although I don't know. Depends. Who knows?
Okay.
I hope they all get married and they're happy. I don't know.
I at one point in time I thought it was going to be Erin, but now I can't say that anymore. I don't think any
No.
of them are going to get married. And if they do, it'll be later in life. Like they'll be well into their 30s, possibly, when they decide to get married.
Well, that's what I think, but I think that's also something that generation is doing. I don't think they're
Yeah.
getting married as young as, and I mean, I was late getting married, but I do. My sister got married at 21. My brothers both. Anthony, I think Anthony was 25 or 26 when he got married. Tim was 25 as well. So I was the oldest to get married and the last one to get married. But I think that mine will probably be the same. It'll be in their 30s. It won't be in their 20s.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the maturity level is different than it was for
Oh,
us.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I think at 21 now, they're the same as what we were at 16. That's what I'm seeing.
Yep.
That's
I agree.
what I'm seeing.
I agree.
Which is another reason why I'm okay with my kids still being here, because I really don't know that they have the maturity level. They know everything they need to know. Like I taught them everything they need to know to go and start their own life, but do they have the maturity level not to come back to me with every single question every single day? No, I don't think that they do.
And you know what? Like my oldest son is definitely he's adulting. He's doing the grown up thing now.
Yep.
He's on the cusp of earning his badge of being a grown up. Okay, he's right there. Right now, he's still just an adult, but he's on his way to becoming a grown up. I think my second son, though, I think I'm gonna bring him back home from college. I think he needs a little bit more time. I think college life, too much freedom
Okay.
all at once.
Yeah. I get
You
it.
know what I'm saying? And I think now that he knows what that experience is like, now I think I need to bring him back and let him take it slowly. You know,
Okay.
let's try this again, but now let's try it a little bit more managed than
Yeah.
what it has been. Yeah, because I just think it was, and he did really well this year, but I just think it's time. I think it's too much.
Yeah.
I just think it's for him, and he doesn't agree.
No.
He doesn't agree,
No.
and that's okay. He doesn't have to agree, but you know, I think we're gonna see. We'll see once he comes home for the summer. We'll see what happens by the end of the summer.
Yeah. I think
See how much growth happens.
I think Tegan, and so I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think the oldest for me is the same way. Tegan, she's ready to go. It's just a matter of whether she wants to or not. She does everything on her own. She makes her own appointments. She does whatever she needs to do, her own banking, her own jobs. She works. She's going back to UNLV to do some more courses because she's missing some. She doesn't ask us to do anything. She's extremely independent. And she'll do everything by herself. Sasha, not so much. Delaney will do. Delaney is a lot like Tegan. Delaney, he works. He'll do what he needs to do. He'll take care of himself. He understands how things work. He's the one who helps the most around the house, and he gets it. I think once the economy changes again, I think he would be one of the first ones to say, okay, I'm ready to go. I can go. And I wouldn't worry about him. I don't worry about him. I don't worry about Tegan. Rory is our frat boy. He only just turned 21. I think he knows what he needs to do. He understands how it works. He is ready, but he's not ready at the same time.
Yeah.
And so, and then Sasha is our wild card. When Erin and I go away, we don't worry about the house because we know that if something happens, that they'll take care of it. If there's a leak, they know how to deal with that. They know how to call someone. They know how to do all of the stuff. Sasha would be the one who, in the middle of the night, if somebody was trying to break in, he would unlock the door for them.
Erin. That's my Erin.
So I worry. And I sit there, and Erin and I have had this conversation, and I sit there, and I'm like, I don't know, where did I go? I failed. I have failed.
You did not. No, you did not. We're not owning that.
Where did I go wrong? Like, all the other three.
You didn't.
The other three are good. It's him, and I don't know how to fix it.
They're wired. You can't. They're wired differently.
Yeah.
They're wired differently.
I think so.
And it's like, and they're sweethearts and they're good people and they have great hearts and everything, but they just process and think differently. And it's almost like you want to shake them. Like,
yes. Yes.
Like,
but you can't because they're adults. So it's like you said before, you know that you did what you were supposed to do. I know I did my job. I consciously did my job.
Yeah.
But there's something. But at the same time, I know, and Erin and I had this conversation last night. I can't fix it. I want to. No. I want to tell him exactly what he needs to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it. Let me do it for you, but I can't.
Yeah.
I have to.
You can't.
I just have to watch. And that is the hardest thing as a parent that I have ever done in my life. It is. He'll argue with me, but he'll argue with me and tell me I'm wrong when I know damn well I am not wrong. I am right.
But I will tell you,
but you got to walk away.
Argue with me. Erin won't disagree, but Erin is like this. He won't disagree with you and he won't argue with you, but he still won't do what you're telling him to do.
Exactly.
It's like he's going to listen to you and he's going to, okay, sure. Right, Mom. Okay, yep, I understand, Mom. Okay, yeah. And then as soon as you hang up the phone, he's doing whatever it is he was going to do anyway. Everything you just said went right out the window. He doesn't care. It's like, and then you have to bail them out of the hole that they got themselves in. And so I just said, recently, he was dealing with some stuff for school, and I was like, you got it. You made conscious decisions. To do what you did, to make the choices you made. that got you in the position that you're currently in. And as much as I want to come and take it all the way and save you from yourself
Yep.
and fix it for you, I would be doing an injustice to you
Yep.
by doing that. You have to grow through this moment. Whatever it is, however it comes out,
Learn the
you have to
lesson.
go through it because you're never going to learn the lesson if you don't experience it.
Yep.
We grow through our experiences, but as your mom, I want to protect you. I want to take it all
Yeah.
away. I want to make sure it's all perfect
It's
because I know if you
hard.
do the wrong, it is so hard. It is so hard. I'm telling you, I've had to call people and say, please pray for me. Please pray for me because I don't know. I just don't know if I cannot be involved.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I cannot just be there. So I'm gonna tell you what I did do. I enlisted the assistance of another family member, and I said, I will feel so much better knowing that you are assisting them with this and that you are overseeing whatever's going on here so that I don't have to be a part of it. Because the way they would handle it and the way I would handle it are totally different.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it for him. They're not going to take over, but they will be there as a counsel, you know, as a confidant or someone
Yeah.
that they can, you know, ask questions of, right? But they're not going to do it for him. Whereas I would want to take over and do it and fix it, you
Yep.
know? And so I
Oh,
did,
I hear ya.
but I only did that because that's for me. That's my comfort. It's like I need somebody to you know take this over, and that's my comfort. So I was like, okay, and that's where I am with that. But it's the hardest. I was like, why didn't nobody when my parents raised adults, when we became adults, my parents did not act like it was a big deal that we were grown. It was like, bye, get out my house,
Yep.
go on about your business, get a job, get your place, whatever. They didn't act like anything that we went through was a problem for them. It was
Yep.
like, you're going through that? Okay, well, let me know how it turned out, right?
Yep.
Why is it we're so involved? Our
I don't
parents
know.
weren't involved. Why are we so involved?
Maybe because we wanted our parents to be, but they weren't. So we're doing that. We're doing what we wanted our parents to do for us. But that's, and so I think that's what it is. But that's why it's so hard, because consciously I have to stop myself and say, no, you need to just take a deep breath and just, you know, no, just no. I don't have other family members here that I can do that with. I have thought about sending Sasha. Oh, we've talked about it, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But I talk to my parents now, and you know what? They did go through the same stuff, but they did the same thing. They stayed out of it. And what my parents said was, and because I've said, well, you help my sister, you help my brothers. Why are you not helping me? I need help.
Right.
Like, just
Right.
help. And they just look at me and they say, because you don't need it. And I'm like, yes, I do. They're like, no,
Yeah, right.
Raquel, you don't. You can do this. We don't
Yeah.
worry about you. And I'm like, but
Yes.
all of the shit happens to me. My brothers and my sister, they're off living a normal life where everything just seems to be fine. It's me. Like, everything just... And they say, you know what? No matter what happens to you, Raquel, we know that you are okay, because you are a very strong, independent woman, and if you get out of your own way, you can do this. The problem is you tend to get in your own way. But if we leave you alone, You figure it out every time. They said, Raquel, you're turning 55, and every single time you have figured it out. And I'm like, I know, but it would be really nice if you could do that for me just once. Just one time.
Just once.
Just
One
once
time.
before you go. Because once you're gone, you're not going to be able to. So
Not one
just
time
one
before
time.
you go.
Just once before you go, could you do me a solid and help me out a little here? I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking you to tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. And they're like, nope. Nope. Ask your sister.
parents
I'm like,
not
I'm
like
not
mine.
asking my sister because she's never done this before. And they're like, well, there you go. You figured that part out, didn't you? I'm like, wow.
I used to tell my sister all the time, I'm like, I don't think our parents loved me the way they loved y'all because I'm the youngest. And I think by the time they got to me, they were tired because y'all put me through so much crap. And so by the time they were just like, well, whatever happens to this last one, it'll be okay. You know, I was just that kid that they did not. I mean, they bailed everybody else out of their mess and they never bailed me out. I didn't get, like, even going to college, they didn't pay for my schooling. Like, they
No, I
paid
got
for
a
everybody
student
else.
loan.
They
Yeah.
paid for mine. I didn't get a car when I turned 16.
No.
I had to buy my own first car.
Yep.
I had to buy my own first car. But all of my siblings, they got cars gifted to them. Even my sister, when she became a full-fledged adult, like 50 years old or something, my dad still gave her a car.
Ooh.
I'm like, she's 50. Why are you giving her a car?
Where's mine? Where's my car?
Yes, I still don't have a car. Like, you never bought me a car. You don't need a car. You have a car. Because I bought it. Can I get something for free? Can
You
guys
don't
just-
need
you-
my
you- you
help,
didn't-
but what if I want it? There's a
just
difference.
show me that you care enough to sacrifice enough to give me something.
Yeah.
Let me offer it to me and allow me to refuse it. How about that? just make the offer.
Let me
Let's
have
see
the
what-
option to say I don't need your help. How about that?
Yes.
How about that?
Never happened.
No.
Never happened.
Never happened.
And they're like, "Oh, you're stronger for it.
Yep.
You're a stronger person."
What if I don't
So you
want to
mean
be?
to tell me you weakened all your other children
Yep.
just to make me strong?
Apparently, all my siblings are all weak. They're all weak. I don't think so. I think they're just fine. But apparently, so to answer your question, yes, our parents did go through the same things we're going through. It's just you and I were on a different receiving end.
We are.
I don't know. God bless DNA. Anyway, on that note, we should probably call this because it's been 2
Wrap it up.
hours.
It has.
Over 2 hours.
And you know this is supposed to be an hour show.
I know. It is. It's supposed to be an hour.
When was the last time we had an hour show?
We've
When
never
was the
done an
last
hour
time?
show. We've never done an hour show. But you know what? We had 15,000 likes on TikTok for our last show. So,
We're moving
if
up.
it ain't broke,
Moving
don't
up.
fix it. So, if people want to tune in, then they can. If they don't want to, then they won't.
Absolutely.
However, on that note, I do have some people that I want you to meet coming up soon. There are 2 very, very important women that I have been meeting, and one of them is going to be here any minute now. And I think that you will really like these women. They're very strong, very independent women. For some reason, I don't know a lot of white women in this city, but these 2 women are of a little darker complexion than me, and they're very successful women, and I am very, very happy to meet them, and I think you will absolutely adore them. One ran for mayor in the last mayoral election. She went to
Nice.
Harvard. She's extremely intelligent, and she's a wonderful person, and I think you'll really like her. And the other one grew up in Hollywood, and she has a lot of very big connections, and she wants to hang out here with us. So, and she's the one I'm going to meet now, and I haven't met her yet, but I've heard really good things. So when I do, we might do a Zoom meeting so you can meet them as well. But everybody else who's watching will also get to meet these two wonderful ladies, and I'm hoping that we can expand our network and start helping women get through the next few years, because I think that's what we need. And I want to help other women. So we're going to figure something out with that. So we'll see if we can do it coast to coast. I'm hoping we can figure it out. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Sounds
so on
good.
that note, we got to go. I will see you next time.
Bye.